lot of you have seen my cool element samples, but which one's my favorite? My collection has 50 elements. One of them is missing though because I dropped it and lost it. There's a new sample of it coming in the mail later this week. But out of all of these, which one would you think would be my favorite one? Could it be one of the rare earth metals? Like thulium, terbium, dysprosium, or samarium? Could it be the most toxic metal on Earth, thallium? Could it be the one that only newbies would have as their favorite element, carbon? What if you were to ask yourself, well, is it gallium, the one that melts in your hand? Well, sadly, no. Well, I'm about to tell you my top 5 favorite ones. Coming out at the number 5 spot is germanium. Is because it's shiny and reflective, has a cool appearance, and also because it's transparent to infrared light. Like, if you look at this through an infrared camera, this thing is completely see-through, even though it's obviously a brick of solid material that you can not see anything through, despite being a mirror. Coming out at the number 4 spot is going to be thulium, one of the rare earth metals. Even though I said those are not my number 1 favorite elements, I didn't mean that, except thulium ranks number 4. Just because it's probably the most stable in air out of all the rare earth metals. And it's also the most rare, even though it's not as expensive as something like gold. Even though this one is quite expensive, you're paying like $3,000 a kilogram for this. And it's pretty cool. Coming out at the number 3 spot is going to be indium. It's not that soft, like it's not soft enough to bend it. But, however, it is soft enough that you can scratch this one like that with your finger. With a giant imprint right there. You can also poke at it like this with your finger. And my finger goes right through it. And this is proof that indium is actually the softest out of all of the non-reactive metals. And I have a little medallion made out of indium. And this weighs about 15 grams. And it's been through a lot. I've cut it. I've poked it with my finger. But if you look up indium online, you'll see people biting through this metal. I don't recommend doing it, but if you want to do it, then go ahead. I'm not forcing you to. I'm not telling you that it's dangerous, but I just don't recommend it. Especially if you're like me, because I have braces on, as you can see here. Yeah, that's not good for my teeth. Number 2, tungsten. This is my first element I added to my collection. And this is a 1-inch cube made out of it. I believe this is made from powder that they put in a mold, and then they squeeze the bejesus out of it at very high temperatures like this, and then it becomes a solid eventually. And this is what you end up with. Unless you have something like a very advanced vacuum furnace or something, you could probably melt this thing down, and it would probably turn into something like this. But that's pretty hard to do. It also feels very heavy. Like, it's crazy to have this much weight in this small of a cube, which is what makes it seem large. This weighs about 0.7 pounds. So, if this was made of gold, it would weigh the same amount. And a cube of gold this size would cost roughly $20,000. So, holding this would basically be a simulation of what it would feel like to hold a brick of gold that's worth thousands of dollars. Honorable mention, gallium. Gallium probably comes in at number 6 in this list, but I included this as an honorable mention. You've seen some of my videos of me playing with this metal, right? Well, yeah. The only downside of gallium is that it's corrosive to other metals, and it gets everywhere and makes stains everywhere. Like, this thing, the first time I got it, it spilled all over my desk, and I had to clean it up and everything, but I eventually got used to it, and it was able to melt it. This is a nice shiny brick of gallium. If I were to hold this for like an hour or so, like inside the glass container, then this would start melting like chocolate. So that's the honorable mention for this list. Number 1 is my favorite element, which is what you've all been waiting for, and that is, drumroll please, bromine! This is a nasty element that you don't want anywhere near you, but luckily it's in here. And it's crazy how you can actually see something this dangerous flow like water in here. And it's my favorite one because of its color and the fumes it makes, and its chemical properties too. Like, if you poured this onto some aluminum metal, it would basically immediately catch fire, and, you know, this would boil away. Because this vaporizes at 137 degrees Fahrenheit, or 58 Celsius. And it's crazy because this is pretty much just as deadly as chlorine. And it was used, like, chlorine was used as a poison gas in, like, World War II, I believe. And it also looks like soy sauce, and I would like to drink some, but you would die. You could also try to buy it as a cheaper form in this, just the glass thing by itself. You can buy that for cheaper, but you run the risk of dropping it and then it breaks, and then you have to evacuate the building. But this one is multiples of time more expensive because it's acrylic surrounding it and it has to be polished like this. This was $165. Just the glass by itself costs maybe like $30. Well, that is something that you want to handle carefully, but this is the one that people want. And that's because it's makes it safe to handle when it's in here. So there you go. My top 5 favorite elements.